Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far, and welcome to today's video, which is going to be my July beauty roundup, where I'm going to be sharing all of my thoughts on everything that I tried in the month of July. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so first up I want to talk about my new Zuvi hairdryer. This video is not sponsored, but this was gifted to me and they did give me a discount code for you guys. If you want to check this out, you can save a few pounds because it's pricey. I don't really like hair dryers, okay? I haven't really used a traditional hairdryer for a very long time because I just don't like them. I have my Dyson Airwrap and I like that for styling, but I typically will just let my hair air dry, which used to be the way that we were told was the best for our hair. It was the healthiest, it was the most gentle way not to put heat on our hair. And nowadays they've changed their minds, okay, and decided that actually it's better for your hair to dry it at least some of the way when you've washed it, so that your hair isn't left wet and fragile, for like my hair type isn't left full of weighty water and fragile for too long. So I'm trying to do the right thing, you know, but they keep changing it. So make your minds up. So I was happy to try this with low expectations, thinking I wouldn't really like it. Hair dryers are not really for me. Most hair dryers, the issue I have with them is I feel like they really make my hair heavier and like denser, and not in a good way. This one really keeps my hair light and fluffy and soft, and like in the same way as I get from the hairdresser, or in the same way I get from air drying it. It doesn't weigh my hair down like I feel like a lot of hair dryers do, and they just make them heavy and weighty and like thicker, but not like a good thick. Does anyone know what I'm on about? Because I don't. But the good thing about this is it's really got some serious power, but in a very gentle way. So I actually can use this. I use this attachment. This is like the gentle attachment, and I use this on my daughter because it's really gentle and kind on her scalp. You know, she's got that thin, she's 9, she's got a, you know, not as much hair covering her scalp as me, and her hair is thin and I don't want to do any damage to it. So it's got a nice, cooler, gentler setting along with this gentle attachment. I know it's really gentle and kind to her hair and her scalp, and it blow dries her hair in minutes. So I've really been loving it. It's nice and light and easy to hold as well. So I'm definitely much happier with this hairdryer than I have been with any of the others, the old school ones that I used to enjoy. I don't use the attachment, I just use it naked, and it dries my hair very, very quickly without making it feel horrible. So ideal. Oh, the other thing I must mention that I love is that the Cool Shot actually keeps all of the power, which I feel like is really unusual. Every other hairdryer I've ever used, if you use the Cool Shot, it's like half the power as far as like the air. What's the expression? What we say, you know what I mean, the airflow. It keeps the full power of the hot airflow, which I feel like is unusual, no? So yeah, I was really happy with it. Thank you so much to Zuvi for sending me that treat and a half. So I have 2 fragrances that I tried new to me this month. First up, let's talk about Kayali The Wedding Silk Santal. Now, I love the fragrance of this. It smells delightful. Let's wear it today. I forgot to put perfume on. Let's go for it. You'll notice I sprayed a lot, okay? I bought this little tiddler because 1, adorable. 2, I've got so many perfumes now. I only want to buy the smallest size wherever possible because I'm never going to get through them, okay? I wasn't really sure if this was going to be for me. Now, first things first, I love the fragrance. It's beautiful, very like warm but not too heavy. You know, it's supposed to be a wedding fragrance. I think it's a perfect wedding scent. It smells very romantic, feminine, but not in a very like girly, like flower bomb kind of way. It's got some, you know, nice, rich, ambery, warm sweetness about it, which I really like. It is the type of fragrance that I would wear and that I would recommend for a wedding. We've got 1 issue, we've got 2 issues, okay? 1, the performance, like with the previous Kayali fragrances I've tried, it just does not last very well on me. And it's not that it doesn't last very well. I can still, if I'm like sniffing, snorting my wrist, I can still make it out, but the projection, the sillage is 0. It just doesn't, no one can ever smell this on me. I can't smell it on me after like half an hour of spraying it. So for me, that just means it fails as a wedding fragrance, because one of the most important things about a bridal perfume or perfume to wear on your wedding day is that it lasts incredibly well and has great sillage. You want everyone to think you smell like an angel, a goddess. I want everyone to get wafts of me as I glide around the room, welcoming everybody. I want everyone to be like, oh, she smells incredible. That's what I want on my wedding day. I don't want no one to be able to smell me after the first 5 minutes that I've sprayed my fragrance. I don't want to have to carry my fragrance around, spraying myself constantly just so that anyone can get a waft of my perfume. And I feel like this just doesn't have the performance. It also, the second issue, it smells incredibly similar to the Sugared Patchouli fragrance, the previous one that I tried from Kayali. And I've read in the reviews it also smells incredibly similar to several other Kayali scents. So I feel like if you have a couple of these, it's not going to be different enough to justify it for you. I think the performance is still lacking like it has been for me across the house, but it's also quite samey as the rest of the house. So yeah, I wouldn't be buying a larger bottle of this. I love the fragrance, it's beautiful. I loved the previous fragrance I tried, just the performance is lacking. And I need the performance, I need it. I've said it before, my skin eats fragrance for breakfast. You need to come with some strong gumption or my skin is just going to eat you alive, and by 11s you're going to be gone. You're going to have been digested. And next up we have this little number. This is Versace, what are we calling it? Gingembre Pétillant. This, I started hearing about this. I think this was actually released last year, but I started hearing about this because I think Demi Rawlings, as usual, was like selling it out left, right and centre. I really love Demi's fragrance reviews. I have very similar taste to her, so I know she loves something, I'm going to love it. And her review was essentially that this is, if you love Baccarat Rouge 540, which you guys know I do, then you need this. This is basically the same with a little hint of caramel. Another one of my favorite notes in fragrance. So she's absolutely right. This is literally Baccarat Rouge with a pinch of caramel and a pinch of ginger. I know, be still my beating heart. It's divine. It is exactly that. If you have Baccarat Rouge 540 and you just wanted a little bit more warm, a little bit spicier, a little bit more crowd pleasing, because Baccarat Rouge can be quite divisive, you just want that little smidge of caramel, it's delightful. It has the same performance. It's got incredible sillage, incredible longevity. I sprayed this when it first arrived on my wrist, went to bed, woke up the next day, and I could, like, I didn't even have to smell my wrist. I smelt it on myself as soon as I woke up. It's delightful. It will make it through a shower. That's what I want, that's what I want. If you love Baccarat Rouge, I think it's different enough to have both because it does have that extra caramel, but it is very similar. If you hate Baccarat Rouge, it's not different enough that you will love this one. I'm obsessed with it. It's going to be one of my all-time favorite, most worn fragrances for sure. Next, let's talk about this Kate Somerville SPF 50 Uncomplicated Soft Focus Makeup Setting Spray. So this is a setting spray with a very high SPF in it. Just what we all are crying out for, a way to reapply SPF over makeup. Finally. I was very skeptical about this. I was afraid to use it. I thought it's going to splatter and leave splodges, white splodges. That's what I thought, all over my face. It leaves nothing. It feels like almost a powder spray. Very, very sort of airy of a spray. You don't get wet at all. I don't know what magic is in here, but it completely did not affect my makeup whatsoever. It was completely invisible. Obviously, the one caveat here is you aren't going to get SPF 50 unless you're spraying for half an hour and you cover your entire face for like a million times. And that's not what they recommend. They just sort of say, one like of the spray. Otherwise, you probably will struggle to breathe, I would think. And you're going to go through a bottle in like 2 uses. So you aren't going to get SPF 50 because you're just not using enough of the product to get that full SPF 50. But is it better than nothing? That's the thing. You're not going to get SPF 50, but if you get 15 and you can reapply where you wouldn't have been able to previously, that's good enough for me. I love it. It doesn't extend the life of or wear of makeup, but it also hasn't negatively affected it either for me. It just doesn't affect it at all. And obviously you can spray it as often as you like. So this is fantastic. The one thing I wish we made it much smaller, because for me the whole purpose of this is putting it in my handbag so I can reapply my SPF throughout the day, and it's ginormous. So I must have a small smidgy one, please. Is there one? I need to look. Okay, speaking of setting sprays, we've got another one. Urban Decay sent me across their All-Nighter Vitamin C long-lasting makeup setting spray. Let me tell you, the first time I sprayed this, I was shocked, okay? I wish I'd done it on camera. Do I? I don't know that I do. I got soaked. It soaked me from head to toe. Well, not really, from like here to here. I was drenched. I wasn't expecting it. I've been very accustomed to my Charlotte Tilbury setting spray, my Lisa Eldridge finishing spray, that are very light mist, you know. This one, I sort of, and I felt drenched. I felt drowned, bedraggled. I was shocked to my core, okay. It was quite the experience. So mixed feelings. It definitely is a decent setting spray. It extends the life of my makeup. It does a great job at doing that, at keeping everything in place and not melting away in the hot weather, but it soaks you. The spray it's a lot. It's intense. Take a deep breath. That's my advice to you. So yeah, a mixed experience. One I'm not sure I'd like to repeat. Okay, we had 2 mascaras come out this month. Lucky me. You guys know how much I love mascara, so when it's raining mascaras, I'm a happy lady, all right? It was the battle, Huda Beauty One Coat Wow versus Benefit FanFest. Boop. Who will be the winner? You guys decide, or I'll decide for myself now. They are so different. I love them both, and what I appreciate about them both is that they both do what they claim to do very nicely. The Huda Beauty will give you the fattest, thickest, wow, holy moly, can you open your eye type of lashes in one coat. It does exactly what it says on the tin. It's got the really large brush. It coats everything very, very quickly. You can get really amazing, very voluminous lashes in one coat, exactly as claimed. It's tricky, very tricky to use on the lower lashes without making a mess because of the very large brush. I don't love the packaging. The Benefit FanFest is the one that I've gone with today. Gives you beautiful, fanned out, separated, more natural fluffy lashes, and is also water resistant. Much smaller, skinnier brush, perfect for lower lashes, and just a much more natural, toned down kind of look to the Huda. This is my favourite of the 2. It's just more the type of lashes that I prefer these days. This would have been my absolute holy grail a few years ago, when that was all I wanted, was full, thick, fat, fake looking lashes. Now I like something a little more separated, so this is a bit more me than the Huda Beauty these days, but they're both amazing. I feel like the Huda, a couple of times I've used it and I've wanted to go through with a lash comb because it sticks too many lashes together and I just want to comb them through, and then I'm super happy with how my lashes look. But I do just prefer this one for the ease of using it on the lower lashes and just getting a bit more separation. This is my favourite, but they are both amazing mascaras. I've reviewed them both. If you want to see them on the lashes, please do check those out. I'm sorry if I seem distracted. It's the summer holidays and my children are in a room, and every now and then I can hear like suspicious noises. It's very alarming. Next, let's talk about the Hourglass Veil Hydrating Skin Tint. An unexpected wow for me. I don't know that I thought it was going to be rubbish, but I think we've all had slightly mixed experience with Hourglass skin products, base products over the years, particularly with the shade. And I bought this, you know, blind, no idea what shade I was doing or what I was getting or what it would mean for me and my future. I went with shade 10 and it turned out to be perfect, not bright orange as I'd feared, so that was a win. This is my favourite skin tint, I'm just going to say it right now. It's my favourite ever skin tint, tinted moisturiser type of product. I just love that it actually is what it claims to be. It's got a light coverage, it just evens everything out beautifully, and it's got such a perfect finish. It's kind of a luminous, soft focus glow. It's not too dewy or shiny. Typically these type of products don't wear well because a lot of the time they don't have so much coverage, so as they start to lose coverage you notice it quite quickly, and also because they make them quite often very dewy. And this one is just luminous enough that it's got this gorgeous, fresh, healthy glow to the skin without being like so glowy that it's just not going to wear well, or it's going to get shinier and shinier throughout the day until you look very, very sweaty. I think it's absolutely nailed it. I really like the packaging, very travel friendly. It's got really nice shade for me, and it actually wears really decently well while staying just so natural and flattering on the skin and pretty. And I've really been reaching for this quite often, which for me, skin tint, I don't really use them that often, but yeah, I think it's absolutely perfect. My favorite skin tint that I think I've ever tried. It might actually have finally topped the Lancome Skin Feels Good that I can't get anymore. So thank you, Hourglass. We're really pulling things together in 2023. Next up, we have these Chanel Skin Enhancers. I know people are going to ask me about these two. They are quite different, I feel personally. Now, for a start, there's only 3 shades of these, and I already talked about that in my review as being a nightmare. I've got to mix 2 together, which I don't love because that's expensive to do and it's annoying. But this shade, which is the soft pink, is too light for me to wear by itself. And the other shade I have, which is the medium coral, something along those lines, is too deep for me to wear by itself. So if I want to wear it on its own, I need to mix the 2 shades, and that's really what I want these type of products for. They do look beautiful under foundation. However, I have noticed under foundation, if I don't go on with a primer first, like if I use this as primer, I sacrifice a little bit of smoothness. I feel like they slightly add a little bit of texture under foundation. It's not as smooth of a canvas as my Tom Ford Soft Matte is. So then I have to do primer and then this and then foundation. That's a lot of work for me. I don't know about you, but that's a lot of steps. So my favorite way to use these is just on their own, but you know, then I've got a mix. They are quite a bit glowier than say the Hourglass, but still very beautiful and healthy. So I really like them. They're not quite as versatile as I wished just because of the number of shades, but still a very pretty, nice product that I've really been enjoying. So yeah, a mixed bag with that one. Next, let's talk about Prada makeup. A very big surprise for me this month. I bought these products for review purposes. I think for myself, I may have tried the foundation, but I definitely wouldn't have tried the eyeshadows because just looking at the pictures and the colour stories, I didn't like the look of any of them. They all that like pop colour. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. They just didn't make sense to me. They didn't look like my type of eyeshadows, and they're very expensive. I also thought, this is the one I picked up, Portrait. I also thought that the shimmer would be disappointing, as it often is with these higher luxury brands. You know, Chanel, Tom Ford, Dior, they just never give me a really impactful shimmer. And then this, so pretty, and it's so much more impactful than I thought. And the purple, I know for some people will be disappointing, but for me, I really liked that it was much more muted than I thought it was going to be, and therefore much more wearable for what I like and what I wanted. The eyeshadow packaging is glorious. I love it, although it's just smudge city on there now. It's a very smudgy prone, you know, mirrored compact, so that's not great. Very annoying. But the eyeshadows themselves I was really impressed with, and I really like the actual overall look that this gave me. The lipstick I wasn't as huge of a fan of. The packaging is nice. The shape of the bullet caused me all kinds of issues if you didn't watch my review. It's very blocky and square at the top and almost impossible to, like for me, to apply like nicely. I just couldn't get it around, you know, my lips are not a square, they're not a straight line, so it's very hard to like get around the edges. I just don't like the shape of it at all. And I also found that it kind of sat in my lip lines a little. It was kind of tricky to get it even, and it just looked a little kind of cakey, or I don't know, heavy on the lips. It just wasn't my favourite formula, but the colour was very pretty. This is a number Do you know, I don't think it's got a number anywhere on the packaging. I will look up what I ordered and put it in the description box for you, but I cannot see a number anywhere on the packaging. Oh, here it is, I found it. I'm blind. It is very subtle though, it's almost invisible. 0176 is the lipstick, a beautiful shade, tricky shape of bullet to apply, and just not the nicest feel to the texture. So that was kind of my flop from the 3 products I tried. And now the foundation. The foundation that I have on today, I love it. I love the foundation. I somehow smashed the shade out the park with 0 information, which was like a miracle. Beautiful, nice, neutral, natural undertone shade. The shade I got is MN50. I love that these are refillable. I was gonna say free refills. It's not TGI Fridays. It's Prada, quite different. So yeah, they're not free, the refills, but I love that when it goes to winter and I want a lighter shade, I can just get the refill and swap them out. Then it's really nice and space saving to store the other shade. I absolutely love that option. It's just such a natural foundation. It's sort of the lighter end of medium as far as coverage, tones everything out beautifully. It just has such a nice natural finish, you know, a bit like the Hourglass skin tint but with more coverage. It has a really lovely glow and luminosity to it, but without being shiny and dewy, and it wears really, really well. I've now tried this for like a week, all different days. One day it was my children's swimming lessons. I'm in a swimming pool for 2 hours and it's the hottest 2 hours of my whole life, okay? Very, very hot and humid, no air to breathe or be spoken of, and it held up really, really well. I've been on days out where I've been very, very hot running around town inappropriately dressed because I don't know whether I'm coming or going with this weather at the moment, and boiling. I've also been in rain and it's never really caused any issues with this foundation whatsoever. It's so flattering on lines and texture. It looks beautiful in this area. It doesn't crease in smile lines. It's a treat and I'm really loving it. You know, sometimes when I get a new foundation I want to test, it's a bit of a chore to have to wear it every day. I want to go back to my usual foundation, but I haven't really been wanting to do that. I've been wanting to wear it every day and just really enjoying and loving it, and I think it's beautiful, and that was a big surprise for me. I just sort of thought this was going to be a very like meh all around brand, and actually 2 of the products really pleasantly surprised me, so I'm really excited to see more from them. I want a concealer, I want a powder, I want cheek products. I'm now really excited to try more from Prada, which I didn't see that coming. Did you? Next, let's talk about Lisa Eldridge's Velveteens. Lisa Eldridge, if you've been living under a rock, released liquid lipsticks this month, and they are my favorite ever liquid lipsticks. This is the shade Rain. Yes, Rain, don't doubt yourself. You go, girl. This is stunning. They're obviously beautiful colors. We've seen the colors. They are slightly different to the Velvet Mattes, shades of corresponding names, so you've been warned. I love this packaging. It's delightful. It's the least drying liquid lipstick, dry down transfer proof liquid lipstick that I've ever tried. Very comfortable, very light, very nice crisp line, very easily achievable with that beautiful wand. I really love it. It dries down very nice and quickly, and it's completely there for hours. I've worn this for a whole day. What did I do recently? I'm trying to think when I wore this. Oh, went to the cinema to see Barbie with this on. I'm eating popcorn, I'm drinking a coffee, I had a Coke, I had pick and mix, okay? It was a whole feast, and I came out and went to the ladies afterwards. It was still perfect. Pardon you. Amazing. I love them. Please, more shades, Lisa. Just love them. I think I do, before anyone asks me, prefer these just to the Charlotte Tilbury. Very neck and neck, but quite different. The Charlotte Tilbury are thicker, creamier, take a lot longer to dry down, but match as far as how they wear and transfer and how comfortable they are. So it's you know. Some new products from Charlotte Tilbury, or new to me, re-promoted products from Charlotte Tilbury this month. The Beach Sticks and the lip oils. Neither of these are really my type of product. You know, it's a stick, a cream, blush that is like a lip and cheek in one. It's literally everything I don't like typically, but I really liked these. I just think they're very travel friendly. They were way easier to use than I thought. This is the shade Formentera, and it's like the perfect beachy, bronzy blush. You could use this as like bronze blush and highlight all in one and on the lips. So a perfect holiday packing, trying to take as little makeup as possible type of product. Really easy to use, really like these. I will say a lot of you, I didn't, mine doesn't fall out, no, but I have had a lot of you telling me that they came like broken and falling out the components, so make sure you send them back if that happens, but just something I wanted to make you aware of just in case it happens to you. Mine were fine, but beware. The lip oils I'd never tried from Charlotte Tilbury, a rare product that I haven't tried, and I really love them. They're just, again, lip oils are not really a product I reach for a lot, but these are just really easy going, whack in your handbag, very small and diddy and easy to fit, you know, in a purse, and just really nice and comfortable. No stickiness, no cloying, no bunching up or anything like that a lot of these type of products do. Very minimal colour though. So I mean, if you've got other lip oils that you like, I don't think these are going to be like amazingly different because they don't have much colour whatsoever, but I really like these. Feel lovely on the lips and they've been living in my handbag. I picked up 2 new blushes from Dior this month. First up, this is number 416 Dior en Rose, and this is one of their new shades. This is the only one we've received so far in the UK. It's right up my street. It's so pretty. For some reason it was listed on the website as a natural finish, I think, but it's actually a shimmer, which was great for me, but annoying if you've ordered it thinking it's not going to be shimmery, and it is. Such a pretty, just perfect, everyday, very natural, easygoing blush. I really love this shade. Went straight in my top drawer because it's just like the perfect everyday shade. Really nice amount of luminosity, no real sort of glitter or shimmer, very smooth, beautiful. And then I picked up Mahogany, another shade of the Backstage blushes, and I had mixed results. If you guys watched my video where I tried this for the first time, it was a horror show. It looked horrendous, okay? And I gave it another go. I said I was going to in that video, and I'm so glad I did because now I know how to use it very lightly and carefully and buffed out, and I love it now. It is scary. I mean, look at it. It's very scary and intimidating for my skin tone, especially after that first experience, but used lightly, it's such a pretty, natural, bronzy, soft colour. I actually really like it. I think you can see there, you know, how it can be used very softly and lightly, and actually really like this now as a kind of no makeup, very minimal, tiny amount of something, proceeding with caution, and I really like it. It's grown on me, so that's good. But I will say I do use it with a pinch of alarm every time, just because of, you know, the flashbacks from the first time when it went horrifyingly wrong. Gucci released some new shades in their Satin formula. So apparently these are shades that existed previously in other formulas, but they released for summer in the Satin formula. I think that's what I'm trying to tell you. Who knows? Let's hope so. This is the shade They Met in Argentina, which is the one I have on my lips. I've never tried Gucci's Satin formula before. I've only ever tried the matte, and I love this formula. So pigmented and creamy, really long wearing, real lovely amount of colour, and this shade is just perfect, especially if you're a little afraid of like a really bright lip. This is like a summery lip that's pretty, and it's, you know, summer, gives you the summer vibes, but without being terrifying to wear or feeling like too much if you're a little colour shy. I think it's so pretty, very creamy, comfortable, nice amount of shine without being glossy, and therefore it wears really nicely. I love this packaging. I think these are much more my type of lipstick than the mattes, which are very matte, but yeah, really nice formula actually. A couple of new products from NARS that I tried. This one I've literally tried twice now. These are the Afterglow liquid blushes. I have the shade Dolce Vita on today. It's been a crazy month of makeup releases, and it's been so hard to get through and try everything. I can't tell you. I've got makeup coming out of my ears, and I haven't even managed to review half of these products because there's just so flipping many of them, you know. It won't stop. It's just never ending. This is such a beautiful shade, and it's right up my street. Look at it. This is the blush that I have on today, and it's just the perfect amount of glow as well. It doesn't feel sticky or tacky. It doesn't pick up my foundation. How I've been using them, you know, I'm a bit scared to like dab stuff straight on the skin. That like terrifies me. So I will just dab a bit of this onto my like cream brush and then tap it into the skin, and it goes beautifully. It blends in, melts in really easily. They're not terrifyingly pigmented, a little like the Rare Beauty ones that are terrifying to use. These have a nice amount of pigment, but it's not intimidating to use. Very easy to blend out, very buildable as well, but they just give you a very natural, melted into the skin amount of colour with very minimal effort. I've really liked those, and I really like the sort of glowy, healthy finish that you don't need to use highlighter if you don't want to. Of course, I still did today, but that's just me, okay? I'm bonkers. And then the Sensual Shine lipsticks. I'm desperate to get my hands on these. You know, these are right up my street. They are like a tinted, shiny balm type product. Not a huge amount of colour pigmentation. This is the shade Orgasm, and this is my favourite. I didn't receive all of the colours. I think I got 3, and this is my favourite. It's so pretty, but it is quite light and not a huge amount of pigment, so it's very easy going for like everyday slip in your handbag. Nice skinny bullets. But yeah, if you want a lot more colour, they're not going to offer that. They are more of a sort of tinted shiny balm, or at least the shades that I've tried. Maybe there are richer ones, but yeah, such an easygoing everyday, beautiful, very nice and shiny, very comfortable, creamy as well, and really give you that sort of fresh, plump, juicy lip look. Not as shiny as like the Dior Addicts, I will say. I definitely prefer those. Those are like the love of my life. But these are a nice tinted balm with like a medium amount of pigment, probably like a lighter opacity than a lot of those type of lipsticks. So if you're looking for something lighter, more natural, comfortable, work appropriate, very handbag friendly, these are a lovely, comfortable choice. And finally, in this absolute marathon of a video, we've got these new Sonia G brushes to talk about. We have the Sheer Buffer. Let's do that one first, and then we'll talk about the Fundamentals set. This, without doubt, without question, is, I think, and now doubting myself, but I'm pretty sure, my favourite makeup brush of all time. It's so ingenious. If you didn't watch my Sonia G top 10 brushes, which, let's be honest, not many people did, but you know, Sonia G brushes are always like unique, special, very clever. This one is like so much more special, unique in my collection than even the other Sonia G brushes that I have. It's just so phenomenally clever. It's got like 2 brushes in one, a very light, fluffy kind of surface bristles, and then underneath that it's this really dense buffing brush. It's the perfect cream bronzer brush. I've been using it for all sorts. I could do my whole face with this brush, but without question, it's the best, the greatest cream bronzer brush you'll ever try in your life. It will literally pick up a nice, gentle amount of product and stipple it into the skin, so you can get a really nice, sheer, very, very natural, very, very beautiful blended cream bronzer. But then you've got that buffing brush there to really make everything seamless, or build up if you want as much or as little as you want. It's just so clever, and I just love using it. It's actually fun. I don't know if that's just me, but I find it fun to use. You could also absolutely use this with cream and liquid blush. I've used this with powder bronzer as well, which is probably illegal, but it works gorgeously. Don't obviously go from cream to powder, That's a great way to get hard pan, but oh, it's just delightful. Very, very versatile. I love using it. It's so clever. If you are a cream bronzer person, you would really get a lot of use and pleasure, I'm sure, out of that brush. It's incredible. Now, the Fundamentals set contains, I know, a fair few reworked or rejigged brushes, but I haven't owned any of them. So these are all new brushes to me. These are also available as singles. The brush set itself as a whole is amazing. Of course it is, it's Sonia G. My favorites, if you are thinking which would be like your priority for singles, the large fan brush for bronzer. I never thought I would use a brush like this for bronzer, but it's so great, like sculpting out. And if you're trying to keep your bronzer quite strategically placed, it's perfect and really nice and light and fluffy, but also dense enough to buff, you know? I don't know if that's making sense, but that is like my favorite for bronzer from this collection. My favorite brush in the entire set is this one, the Classic Cheek. I think this might be my new favorite blush brush. I don't know if it might edge the Lotus detail, but I absolutely, it's so light and fluffy and it's just the perfect size for blush. You could also use it for bronzer, you could use it for highlighter, powder, lots of different things. But for me, this is like, I think gonna be my new favorite ever blush brush. Light, airy, nice size and shape to keep your blush quite, you know, strategic and not to go too close to your nose or center of your face. Keep it high up. It's just lovely. It applies a beautiful amount, and if you're using a smaller pan in a palette or something, it's the perfect size. And the third one of my absolute favorites is the Worker L, which is the first brush that has ever challenged my Detail Pro for an under eye setting brush. It's very similar shape and size to the Detail Pro, but denser and kind of more compact. So I really feel like you can press the powder in as opposed to sort of dusting it on with the lighter, fluffier brush. This one really feels like you're sort of pushing the product into the under eye area. It still picks up a really nice light amount, but you can get really close to that lash line and really push the product into the skin, which I really love. So those are my top 3 favorites. The other brushes I also have enjoyed. I've barely used this one. You can see I've just used it for powder. And then these 2 other fan brushes I've been using and trying out for highlighter. But these 3 I think are like my favorite from the Fundamentals set. Just beautiful. Oh my gosh, I think I've nearly lost my voice. What a big roundup this was. Please let me know what you've tried of these products in the month of July and what your experience was. What was your favorite product that you tried from the month? What was something that you just did not get along with whatsoever? Please let us know in the comment section down below. But I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and I'd love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.